Alright, I guess I'm gonna go over cards. Check those out. I mean, everyone's doing it. I gotta join the cool kids club, right? Let me Google him. I saw him at BlizzCon a little bit. I haven't really like played around with him. League of Explorers. Alright. The League of Explorers cards. Let me just share this window on my OBS. Boom. Alright, does it like zoom in if I... Oh yeah, sweet. Alright, so... Druid cards. Jungle Moonkin, 4 mana 4/4. Both players have spell damage +2. Well, the big disadvantage of this is your opponent gets to react to the spell power first. So that could suck. What are Druid's tempo cards that can go with spell power? You got like Moonfire, which is pretty sweet, Wrath, which is mediocre. But then again, like you have like 2 to like you have like that max 6 mana to react with this card first. Swipe with like this on 8 with swipe's actually kind of sick, just because of the condensed amount of spell power. But then your opponent has the 2 spell power too to react. I could see this actually being semi-playable. I can't see it immediately being used. And I think it's got a huge downside with your opponent being able to use spell power first. But like against aggro decks that don't really use too many removal spells, I could see like this plus swipe or something being like okay. I don't think it's gonna be like a tier 1 card though or anything like that. It seems mediocre at best, but not completely trash. But mediocre. Alright, Mounted Raptor. Death Rattle, summon a random 1-cost minion. So it's like a baby Shredder. And it's in Druid, the deck that loves Shredder the most. So that just makes sense. Like, why not? Oh, turn music off. Alright. Music is off. But I like the music. Alright, so summon a random 1-cost minion. What is the stat line of 1-cost minions, though, if we look at that in Hearthstone? Let me go to, like, that so I can, like, switch between the two. So, 1-costing minions, huh? So if we look at 1-costing minions, we got, like, in neutrals anyway, where most of our... It's pretty much 1/1s, 2/1s, and 1/2s. 0/2s. That guy, does he come out as a 2/4? I think this guy would come out as a 2/4. That's pretty extraordinary. 0/4s. There's a 2/3. There's like Flame Imp in there, Web Spinner, Mana Worm, Northshire Clerics. Pretty okay. Buccaneer. For the most part, I think on average it's going to be a 2/1. This card is definitely weaker than Shredder by a lot, just because of how weak a 2/1 is. Where 2-drops can sometimes live against things, the 1-drop's going to die to most hero powers that are around in the game. I think it's better than Harvest Golem, but... I mean, there's no real good 3-drops, so it's definitely better than Harvest Golem. It's weaker than 3-drops like Animal Companion. It's definitely weaker than... Is it better than Shade, though? Because that's the slot it's contesting in Druid right now, because it's a Druid-only card. So is it better than Shade? No, it's not better than Shade. Shade sticks around for combo. Shade's more aggressive. It might be better than Shade, actually, in aggro Druid. So I can see it coming in aggro Druid builds, but in mid-range Druid builds, the power of Shade's just too strong. So I'd say this card is... The Mounted Raptor is probably playable in aggro Druid. May even be like a good card in aggro Druid, but definitely not in mid-range Druid. Mid-range Druid, Shade's still going to be better. Let me see if I can, like... Where's my camera on this? 1 second. Well, I should probably not have that up, but... oops. Boom. Alright, so... Now on to Raven Idol. Choose one, discover a minion, or discover a spell for 1 mana. Interesting. Well, so you get a random spell from any class, or a random minion from any class, so sometimes it's a class-specific minion. What's the ratio of class-specific minions to non-class-specific minions? That's the important question when it comes to that. So let's see here. I don't know. There's like a boatload of each. I don't want to count all of them. That was only in the 3s. But I definitely, there's probably double as many. Yeah, there's probably double to triple as many like non-class specific minions. So you're probably going to get a non-class specific minion most of the time. And what you really want is a class specific minion because they're better generally than non-class specific minions. So, why wouldn't you just, like, instead of running this card and having to waste 1 mana to search for something, why wouldn't you just play a minion or a spell that would be good in your deck? Like, I don't understand the benefit of this and wasting 1 mana worth of tempo to get a spell or a minion when you could just put in a spell that you think's good or a minion you think's good. So I don't think this is going to see play, but I could be wrong. Like, maybe its utility is just that much worth it, but I doubt it. So moving on to Hunter cards. Let me get my camera, like, out of there. Boom. Alright, so we got Explorer's Hat. Give a minion +1/+1 and Death Rattle. Add Explorer's Hat to your hand. So you put this on a minion, he gets a cool little hat, and then when he dies, you get the hat back, and you get to keep recycling it forever. Interesting. That is actually... Huh. It's kind of a cool card. It's not many cards. There's no like card in Hearthstone like that right now, so that's really cool. But how viable is it in constructed at the legend level metagame? 2 mana for +1/+1 is not good. I can't find, especially in Hunter, like, when are you going to have the free time to play that card in Hunter? Like, Hunter's all about developing minions hitting the face, and this is just weaker than developing minions and, like, hero powering, so I don't think it's going to be very useful. I can't see it being played currently, like, and it doesn't work with the emptying your hand cards from Hunter very well. But I mean, it's just like 2 mana that's not developing the board as powerful as playing another creature. And basically, with Hunter, you dump all your cards and then start hero powering them in the face. So you don't really want to be playing this card, I don't think. So I'm pretty sure it's completely trash in Hunter. Maybe it's good in other classes, but Hunter, I don't think it's ever going to see playing constructed with the current cards available. Alright. 3 mana, 2/4 Desert Camel. Put a 1-cost minion from each deck into the battlefield. Huh. That's actually could be good. One, like, the 3-drops in Hunter, or the 3-drops in general in this game are fairly weak, and this 3-drop's decent stats, like 2/4, like a Leok. But I mean, like, 2/4s are not that bad for 3. And then a lot of decks don't have 1-drops. So, like, if your opponent doesn't have a 1-drop, then he doesn't get a 1-drop from this effect, and then you're actually in a pretty good position, because you're getting, at worst, you're getting, like, a 3/5 for 3. So if your opponent doesn't have a 1-drop, it's pretty sweet. You can get like a Web Spinner or a Lepronome or Abusive Sergeant out of your deck. So I think it's actually pretty playable, depending on like what you're going against. Like, for example, Control Warrior doesn't have a 1-drop, so you can just pull out Lepronome. Rogue doesn't have any 1-drops, you can pull out a Lepronome against Rogue. There's like a bunch of cards, there are like a lot of decks that don't run any 1-drops that this card's going to do very well against in like a hybrid Hunter oriented sort of deck. And well, you can't only play, or I guess you could only play Injured Cadaver with your face Hunter deck and pull that out. I guess that's a thing. So yeah, this card's definitely playable. I think this one could be good. Alright, Dart Trap. 2 mana secret. When an opposing hero power is used, deal 5 damage to a random enemy. Huh. 5's a lot. That could be good too. 5 can actually just like kill things. You could have like they could like completely destroy some random minion. That could be good, because like, how do you play around that? Just like never using your hero power. But you have to eventually use your hero power. Plus it like can proc bow, because sometimes like your opponent just kind of sits back and never like attacks you to proc any of your traps, and then you can't get your bow charges. But like this could actually help bow charges, and it could help kill things. Do 5 damage to the face, could be really good in Face Hunter. I don't know if it's good, but it could see play. I don't think it's like super good, but I think it could actually see play and be mediocre. I wouldn't count this card out completely. This card count out completely, the Explorer's Hat. Desert Camel, I think, is going to be pretty solid. Not pretty, I guess is going to be okay. And then Dart Trap has the potential to be okay. So that's where I'm at with those ones. Alright, now we go down to the Mage ones. We got Animated Armor. Your hero can only take 1 damage at a time. Huh. 4 mana 4/4s are just too weak, I think. So I don't see this seeing play. Like, it just can't compete with the stat line that is Shredder. So I don't think any deck's really gonna play this. Like, maybe some weird crazy tech against Freeze Mage, but no, then they just like AoE it down. So yeah, I don't see that card seeing any play. Seems pretty bad. Alright, Ethereal Conjurer, 5 mana, 6/3, Battlecry, discover a spell. 5 mana, 6/3. Draw a spell. I mean, why is this better than Azure Drake? I mean, you're guaranteed to get a spell, sure, but you just put like a higher density of spells in your deck. And then Azure Drake's a 4/4 for 5 with spell power, so it's like a way better stat line. So I think Azure Drake's simply better than this card in most cases. So I don't see this card seeing any play either. Forgotten Torch, 3 mana, deal 3 damage, shuffle a Roaring Torch into your deck that deals 6 damage. That card's good. That's like a Frostbolt and a Fireball in one card. That's insane. I could see that card seeing play in Freeze Mage. I could see it being played in Tempo Mage. Yeah, that's a good card. I could see it being played in some sort of Burn Face Mage, because just dealing tons of burn damage is insane. So yeah, Roaring Torch seems really solid. Damage is good. Alright, anything can happen. Summon 7 Murlocs that died this game. Alright, that costs 10. 10. So that means a card that costs 10 means when you play it, you're not reacting to what your opponent's doing at all. So if you're not reacting at all to like what your opponent's doing and you're just kind of chilling, then a lot of times they kill you. Like, for example, Druid, you have to react every turn to what they're doing unless you're at an absurd life total, because if you just leave all of their minions up, they force combo you with minions on the field and deal 30 to you. So a 10 mana spell, generally speaking, needs to kill your opponent. So I don't think this is even like intended to be a real card, because you just don't react to what your opponent's doing enough while using all 10 mana, so you die, because you just can't afford to let them do their game plan. So that's why cards like Mind Control and things like that aren't really played at all, except in like super heavy control metas where you're not afraid of your opponent killing them. But if you get lucky on this and you happen to have only Murkais played throughout the game, and it kills them, sure. Alright, Keeper of Old Man. Set a minion's attack and health to 3. Huh. 3 is a weird number. But, 4 mana, 3/4. Stat line a little worse than Shredder. So you're not going to be wanting to play this on turn 4, though, because making something into a 3/3 on turn 4 isn't very good. So what would you want to be targeting with this? I'm not really sure. Like, making Mysterious Challenger a 3/3 seems pretty bad. Making Dr. Boom a 3/3 seems okay. But this is still like the Boombots, and a 3/3 is still pretty good. So I don't know if that's actually like that good. Or you can use it offensively to turn your own minion into a 3/3. Maybe that's the intention. So like using it defensively seems pretty mediocre, but turning your own minion into a 3/3 could have potential. Some sort of more cancer-y Paladin. Healing up your minions, setting them to 3/3s. Taking a Divine Shield minion like Minibot and giving it a +1/+1 with the Divine Shield still. Okay, I could definitely see it like coming into play. It like aggression things. I don't think it's very good though. I think it's mediocre at best. Like, it's in the 4-drop slot, which is competing for Paladin only. And Paladin has Blessing of Kings, which all the Paladin decks are now running 2 of, because +4. It's a 4/4 with charge basically if you have minions on the field. So if you have minions on the field, you have a 4/4 with charge, which is really freaking good. It's like better than Core Crown Elite. And then they also have True Silver, which is insane, and they don't even run True Silver because they can't fit it in because the other cards are better. And then they have the 4/4, or then they have Shredder. So it seems like this card could be kind of phased out unless you're trying to play other weird cards to make it work. So you need to play like Nerubian Egg and some sort of weird buff pally. So like, maybe, is there enough Death Rattle cards though that you can buff that act like a Nerubian Egg? I don't think there's enough like in the set and in Hearthstone in general to really make that work. So I don't think the card is super playable. I think it's probably not going to see much play. It might see a little, but I don't think it's going to see a ton. Alright, Sacred Trial, 1 mana secret. Great, that's what we needed, more Paladin secrets. When your opponent has at least 3 minions and plays another, destroy it. Interesting. Limits the board size. I guess you could see that coming into play. What's up? Oh, I thought someone knocked on my door. So... that doesn't seem terrible. A lot of people like to have a lot of minions in play. I feel like it's fairly common that people have 3 or more. It's just another annoying secret to play around. It's like a secret that actually does something, because like the main point of Mysterious Challenger is to thin out your deck so that you can have like more, so that your odds of drawing into Boom and Tyrion is better. Which is why, if you've noticed, every time you play against Mysterious Challenger Paladin, you're like, why do they always go Mysterious Challenger into Boom into Tyrion? And it's because they play Mysterious Challenger, and then it draws like 5 cards out of their deck, and then the odds of drawing into Boom and the other end pieces is much higher because their deck's thinned out. So it's just another one, a secret that you can kind of tech in there and throw around. I feel like any Paladin secret that does at least something is pretty good at just filling that slot for having like more options for your 5 secrets or 6 secrets to run with the Mysterious Challenger to thin out your deck to fix your curve and make it stronger. So I think that will probably see some amount of play. Alright. Excavated Evil. Deal 3 damage to all minions. Shuffle this card into your opponent's deck. So it's like a weird Hellfire that only hits minions and then gets thrown in your opponent's deck. So it's like a mediocre card, and then your opponent gets stuck with it too. Huh. Yeah, I mean, freeze Priest. Clearing the board constantly. More board sweeps in Priest. So Priest now has Holy Nova, Light Bomb, this card, and Alchemy Circle to some extent. So it's getting closer and closer to the point where Priest can make sure that they can always keep the board clear. And if they can always keep the board clear, then they can kind of play like a Freeze Mage style game, where they just constantly remove the board and then burn over the top. So I think that could actually be viable. And then Entomb, choose an enemy minion, shuffle it into your deck. That just further supports the kill everything Priest. More removal for Priest. So you have removal, you have mass AoE removal, now single target removal with that, with Shadow Word Death, Shadow Word Pain. Like, it's getting to this point where you can have Priest decks that outlast your opponent because there's just becoming enough removal for it. So Entomb seems actually playable. Like, not great, but definitely playable for just trying to make that sort of version of Priest that outlasts your opponent. No, Entomb kills the minion, right? If Entomb doesn't kill the minion, then it's the worst card I've seen. But I'm pretty sure Entomb is going to kill the minion and put it by shuffling it into your deck. Like, it picks it up off the board, puts it in your deck. It's Gang Up doesn't actually remove anything. So Entomb, if you Entomb their Sylvanas, for example, it removes it from the board. It doesn't just kill it. It ignores the Death Rattle, which is the same thing as silencing it pretty much, and then puts it in your deck. So it's a Priest's answer to Sylvanas. Like, that's pretty good. Like, Priest had no answer to Sylvanas for like the longest time because they can't afford to run cards like Silence. So I think it's actually a very solid card that we're going to start seeing in standard Priest decks. So yeah, good card. Alright, Museum Curator. Battlecry, discover a Death Rattle card. That is a 1/2 for 2 that sometimes gives you a card that's good. Nope, that's bad. That's like Old Novice Engineer, which they nerfed for some reason, and it was still bad. Alright. Tomb Pillager. Death Rattle, add a coin into your hand. Coins are good. Is it strong enough to make Auctioneer viable? Probably not. Does it compete with Shredder? Not really. Violet Teacher even. Like, it is a rogue card, so if it's in a Miracle Rogue sort of list, it's got to help you stay alive, really. And this is not very defensive at all. It dies to Deathbite, which is a big problem, just instantly. And it dies to True Silver, which isn't very good. It dies to, like, a buffed up mini-bot really quickly. It dies to Piloted Shredder trading into it. And it dies really easily, and you lose tempo when it dies, and then you get the added benefit of a coin afterwards. But I don't know if it's gonna be that. It seems like it's okay. Clento said it's the best card. I don't think it's the best card in the set, but seems playable. Doesn't seem the greatest. Like the 4-drop slot's so hard to compete with because Shredder is insane. Like Shredder is like better than a 3-mana 5/4. That's how good Shredder is in most decks. So it's pretty hard. So yeah, I think it's okay. I don't think it's amazing. Alright, Unearthed Raptor. Battlecry, choose a friendly minion, gain a copy of its Death Rattle effect. I haven't seen a Death Rattle rogue before, but you're going to need to be running your own Death Rattle minions to get benefit off the Battlecry. Stat line's really good, 3 mana 3/4, so it's a really solid 3-drop in its own right, but is there a deck archetype that it could really fit into right now? Like, if it could copy your opponent's Battlecry, it'd be really good. But so far, like, what are you going to copy? Like, Piloted Shredder? Piloted Shredder and Thalnos are like the only thing that it could really find, because it has to copy a friendly minion. So you'd have to be running like Egg and like Sylvanas and stuff in your rogue. Like, how are you gonna fit those into your rogue? So you're gonna need some crazy weird archetype of rogue. Yeah, Eggs and Cold Bloods, like, well, the reason why that doesn't work is because those are so low quality cards. Now you're just trying to make Zoo Rogue without the Zoo card draw power. So it gets strange, man. Now maybe you have like Belchers and like Sneeds and go in like a Fatigue Rogue sort of thing. But either way, you're trying to make something that doesn't work very well with the Rogue hero power. So it's like going against what Rogue hero power sort of does, like, or trying to make Zoo without card draw. So it's like really tricky to try and find a spot where this card belongs, but on its own, really solid card, but where does it fit in the big grand scheme of things? So I think it's really up in the air. This card's either going to be really good or trash. Like, there's no like in the middle, right? It's either, if it finds a place, it's going to be amazing. If it doesn't find a place, it's not going to be played. Because it's a card that definitely needs a deck built around it, so it needs to be able to find a place somewhere. Alright, Pit Snake. 1 mana, destroy any minion damaged by this minion. Well, a 1 mana 2/1 is not the greatest stat line because most people just hero power it. So I think this is pretty trash, because they'll just hero power it, and it's not doing any damage to any minions. Where we could see it come up off of some of the Druid 3-drop that spawns a random 1-drop, and it could be really interesting in those cases. You could be playing some sort of like aggro rogue, but I mean, like, I feel like it's gonna get removed more often than not. Yeah. It doesn't seem like it's that good. Seems pretty trash. Alright, Everything is awesome. Give your minions +2/+2, cost 1 less for each Murloc you control. Another Murloc Win More card. We already have like the buff Murlocs that are already Murloc Win More cards. So I feel like we have enough Murloc Win More cards. If you stabilize a bunch of Murlocs on the board, you win. I think that's already a thing. So I don't think this card is very good, because that just further promotes that idea. And that's already a theme in Hearthstone if you're playing a Murloc deck. If you get all the Murlocs on the board, you win. So now if you get all the Murlocs on the board, you win even more. So I don't think it's very good. I think it's pretty trash. Alright, Rumbling Elemental. After you play a Battlecry minion, deal 2 damage to a random enemy. Random enemy, not enemy minion. So it can hit face, which makes it a lot worse than if it was just any minion. But Battlecry Shaman? What are the Shaman Battlecry cards that we could see with that? Also 2/6 is kind of a stat line, you know? Like, it's there. There are stats there. So Shaman cards. Battlecry, where's the Battlecry. Oh wait, saw one. No, that card's not playable. Wait, there we go, this card's good. 1 Battlecry card, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have a few decent Battlecry cards, honestly. But is it enough to really justify like some sort of battlecry shaman? Like, that's sketchy for sure. So I don't know if battlecry shaman's gonna be a thing, and I don't know if 2 damage is enough to justify a 2/6. If it was a 3/6, the card would be insane, obviously, but 6 health is a lot. Shaman doesn't have very good buffs though. I guess you got like Flame Tongue. I can see this maybe getting some play, but it's not gonna get a lot. I don't know. I just don't think there's enough battle cries to really make battlecry shaman, and he's competing with Shredder. How do you beat Shredder, man? Shredder's too strong, and this can't trade into Shredder because it's only two attack, so it can't pop the first half of Shredder. So it's like on its own. If you're playing it into 4, Shredder's gonna beat it. Not very good. Tunnel Trog though, the Shaman Mana Worm. This card's insane. Whenever you overload, gain +1 attack per locked mana crystal. That is a good card. One, it can double dip, which is insane. So if you like overload, let's say with Lightning Bolt and overload for 1, and then overload with Lightning Bolt number 2 again, then it's going to get +1 attack for the first Lightning Bolt, then +2 attack for the second Lightning Bolt. So that's +3 attack. So it's already a 4/3, which is insane. And like Tempo Mage, for example, wins by they get Mana Worm turn 1. And then their win percentage goes up by like 20% or something ridiculous. So there's going to be a sort of tempo-based shaman, I can imagine, that has things like Lightning Bolt, and then suddenly Feral Spirits isn't that terrible because you get the plus on that guy when you play it, and it's actually good. And like, you finally have a way to gain tempo while lightning storming. So yeah, I like the card a lot. I think that card's going to see a lot of play in all forms of Shaman. I think it's one of the things Shaman really needed to be able to win games, is just being able to contest the early board. And that's a 1-drop that's much stronger than most other 1-drops in the game. So yeah. And it could potentially open up like Lava Burst Shaman, where you're just like freaking doming people with Lava Burst, locking all your mana crystals and just hitting them for like 100 on turn 3 or 4. Easily insane. Yeah, it's crazy. A really good card. And if you play this into Totem Golem, then you have a 2/3 and a 3/4 on turn 2. It's insane. It's so good. So early game Shaman's a thing. Alright, this card's the best card in the set, by the way. Tunnel Trog, by far, best card in the set. Alright. 1 mana, 1/1, Battlecry. If you have 6 other minions, turn into a 5/5. Huh. 6 other minions, huh? I mean, you can play it with Implosion, so that's a thing. So it gives you more... combos to go with Implosion, so it's not just Knife Juggler Implosion, now it's now it's Implosion then this guy. But if you draw it as a 1 mana 1/1, that sucks. What makes this guy better than just playing Frostwolf Grunt? Or whatever that card... Or the guy that gets +1/+1 for every minion play? Well, I guess because you can Implosion with it, so you can get removal down with it. 6 other minions is a lot. It's like way worse than Sea Giant. Yeah, I don't think it's good. It's too many. 6 is too many, man. 6 is too many. Alright, Curse of Rapham. Give your opponent a cursed card. While they're holding it, they take 2 damage on their turn. Yeah, I've seen this. And then it costs 2 mana to get rid of that card. So you're forcing your opponent to either take 2 damage for every turn they have it, or spend 2 mana to get rid of it. So I think this card could be actually good in like some sort of like Zooey style decks, because your opponent's forced to spend mana to get rid of it, and you may already have a board set up and they don't want to spend mana to get rid of it because otherwise your board keeps hitting them in the face. So I could see this actually being played in maybe some sort of like mid-range sort of zoo decks or something, some sort of like tempo warlocks, because giving up 2 mana to remove it can be expensive depending on what the board state is. So yeah, I think this card could be playable. Could be totally wrong on it, it could be useless, but I think it could be playable. Alright, Dark Peddler. Battlecry. Discover a 1-costing card. And it's a 2 mana 2/2. So you play this on turn 2, and then you get to discover a 1-drop to help smooth out your curve, I guess? Yeah. Is a 2 mana 2/2 good enough to play, though? Because the current minions in Zoo are like Haunted Creeper, Knife Juggler. Yeah, I don't know. It's yeah, I don't know if 2/2 is like strong enough. Because like Knife Juggler feels bad to play on 2 because it just dies immediately most of the time to like just 2 damage spells and 2 damage removals. So like this is gonna just die immediately to 2 damage removals I'm in like constructed, so I don't think it's good enough. It's just too weak of a tempo play on the board, so I think it's bad. This doesn't do enough on the board when you play it. It needs to be stickier if you want to play it in like a tempo based deck that drawing a 1-drop's relevant in. So like you can't really play it in like a deck that's like control based because like the 1-drop's gonna do nothing. So it seems really, really weak. Why would you play it in Handlock? Handlock makes no sense. What is a 1-drop gonna help you with in Handlock? It makes 0 sense. Like you don't see people playing Loot Hoarders in Handlock, and Loot Hoarder would be way better than this card in Handlock because you're drawing a card from your deck and it probably doesn't cost 1 and is terrible. Like 1-drops are not good in Handlock. You're not accomplishing anything for yourself. Alright. 1 mana 2/3, deal all damage dealt to your hero. Or double all damage dealt to your hero. God, I can't read. Okay, aggro warrior. Maybe that's a thing. Because that's a sick card eventually. As soon as there's a tempo-based warriors that are aggressive, this card's going to be nuts. Because trading life for board control is like amazing in Hearthstone and card games in general. So like this card might not have a place now in the game, but it definitely will eventually. Like right now, I don't know if there's enough early game cards for warrior to have like a lot of pressure on your opponent, but eventually, if you can make some sort of like Rainad face warrior like back in the day, it's gonna be a solid card. Just because like the early game board control of a 1-mana weapon like that, being able to squeeze that in with whatever, is awesome, and it just increases your consistency of having like a weapon to early game do things. It's like another Fiery War Axe in your deck. That's insane. So in some sort of like face-oriented, control-oriented mech warrior sort of thing, I think it's going to be really good. So not for hitting phase, but for controlling early game board. So like being able to protect your mech warper, being able to protect your whatnot, frothing berserker or whatever, so that you can just start like snowballing the board early, I think could be really good. So I like it. Obsidian Destroyer. At the end of your turn, summon a 1/1 Scarab with Taunt. 7 mana 7/7. Wow, this is... That dies to big game, Hunter. It makes 1/1/1. This is just like a really bad augur. Alright, not good. Alright, Fierce Monkey. 3 mana 3/4 beast with Taunt. It's got a solid stat line. It's a beast, which doesn't help warrior currently in any way, but could be just another piece to the tempo warrior. I don't think they have enough pieces yet for tempo warrior, but they do this with all the set releases. They add pieces at a time to decks, and then eventually start having enough pieces for the deck to become a thing. But I don't think there's enough pieces to the old beast tempo warrior yet, so I don't think it's going to see too much play. But if tempo warrior becomes a thing, this will probably be in the tempo warrior. Arch Thief Rafam. I don't know, man. Battle Cry, discover a powerful artifact. 9 mana 7/8. I don't know what the powerful artifacts are. Are they down here? Alright. Lantern of Power. 10 damage, 10 mana. So you just get a Pyroblast. Sweet. Fill your board with 3/3 mummy zombies. You'll probably die when you cast that. Deal 10 damage, randomly split among enemies. That's pretty solid, actually, because that can actually stop you from dying, plus potentially kill your opponent. So that one's probably the best artifact. And you just get to choose between all 3 of these powerful artifacts? Huh. So you get a choice of any of the 3 that you want. That's not terrible. It would be better if it was an 8/8, I guess, but... It's, I don't want to count it out completely, because, like, people played Nefarian for a while. This is probably better than Nefarian. Because, like, Nefarian gives you cards that are pretty useless, like, 90% of the time. And this is a little better than Nefarian, but people played Nefarian. So people are probably going to play this some amount. But I never thought Nefarian was good anyway, so I don't know. I'm not going to play it probably. But it might come up, because since it's just a little better than Nefarian, and Nefarian saw play. Alright, Reno Jackson. Battlecry. If your deck contains no more than one of any card, fully heal your hero. I think this could replace Healbot in Freeze Mage. Because Freeze Mage draws so many cards that they can eventually get to... they can get down to, like, 10 cards in their deck, and that's when they want to be healing. They don't really Healbot ever before that point. And when you have so few cards left in your deck, there's a higher % chance that there's 1-ofs there. So you can still run a lot of 2-ofs, but you can get down to a situation where the card's going to heal you to full health. So, like, definitely when you get down to those situations where it is going to heal you to full health, the card's pretty nuts. No, I saw Nefarian played in non-dragon decks, man. It was played in, like, Control Warrior for a month. Alright. So yeah, I think this card's good. I think it can definitely see play in slower control decks and in Freeze Mage. But I don't know how slow of control decks, because it's only going to be good in the control versus control mirror at that point. Because you don't have very much draw in really slow control decks, so you can't increase the % chance that you have only one of any card in your deck very quickly, because you don't have tons of card draw. So, Elise Starseeker, shuffle the map to the Golden Monkey into your deck. 4 mana, 3/5 is a 6 stat line, so that's fine. And then the map is where? So many things. How much mana does the map cost? Oh, the map costs 2 mana. Shuffle the Golden Monkey into your deck. Draw a card. Golden Monkey, 4 mana, 6/6 with Taunt. That's really solid stats. Replace your hand with deck with legendary minions. Huh. I don't know if that's going to be good. I think this is pretty bad. I think it's going to be just, like, far too slow. So, I think that card's pretty bad. But maybe it's good. You're gonna have to see how that one works firsthand, because I feel it's like so hard to factor in all 3 parts of that card, but I'm pretty sure it's trash. Alright, Brand Bronzebeard, your battle cries trigger twice. Huh. That is pretty sick with things like Abusive Sergeant. That might not be terrible. 3 mana 2/4s are not the worst thing in the world. Like, they're definitely not awful. But what is the battle? Like, there's Abusive Sergeant. We got Abusive Sergeant. You can just start Elven Archering things down. That's terrible. Double Silencing things is pretty useless. Oh god, you could throw so many bombs. So many bombs. That seems bad. You could play Novice Engineer in your Face Hunter with Abusive Sergeants. That seems bad. God, it works so good with Arcane Golem. That seems bad as well. No. No. Okay, never mind. The card's not that good. I thought there were more battle cries you could quickly apply to for, like, tempo-based things, and maybe like a hunter or something. But it seems like very mediocre at best. It seems like most of the ways that it can apply are too slow for the board. So I think it might see some play, but I don't think it's going to be a spectacular card. Alright, Sir Finley Murgleton. Discover a new basic hero power. Oh man, if you play Face Warrior and get the Hunter hero power, that's pretty sick. I can see that seeing some play in some cases for doing weird stuff. It's definitely going to be in a lot of troll decks. There's no way it's not in a lot of troll decks. But maybe it shows up in some creative deck. I think Sir Finley could be good. Obviously, most of the time you design your deck around your hero power, though, but still. Doesn't seem like too spectacular. It seems fairly average. I don't know. I think you guys are overrating Braun a little bit. I think both of these cards are fairly average. I don't think neither of them are too spectacular. Like, you need to play this, and then you gotta play the Battlecry card. And SI7's not a Battlecry card. SI7's a combo card. So, like, what are you gonna do? Like, play this and then play Fire Elemental? Like, that is a lot of mana. I don't know if you guys played Hearthstone before, but you die before you hit 9 mana. Alright. Vision of whatever. Whenever you cast a spell on another friendly minion, cast a copy of it on this one. Way too slow. Nobody plays buff cards that aren't played on like turn 3 or 4 because they're like so slow. So you'd have to play this, it would have to stick, and then you'd have to play a buff card. So odds of a 4-6 for 5 sticking, extremely low. Alright, Naga Sea Witch. Your cards cost 5. This card could be good. It has the downside that if you play it on turn, like 5 mana 5/5s can sometimes stick. And if it does, you could just like win the game by playing a 10-drop or whatever. And then on turn 10, you're able to play a 5-drop, then plus any other card in your hand. So that's really cool. So you just like double drop. Yeah, I think this card's good. It's just strictly good, man. Alright, whenever you cast a spell, summon a random minion of the same cost. This is an 06. I don't know. I don't think you can invest 5 mana into an 06 and still be far enough ahead on board for it to not die. Because 5 mana is like so much mana. So you play 5 mana, and then you have to play some random spell. So let's say you're on 8 mana, you play this, and then you play a 3 mana spell, and then your opponent has 9 mana to react to an 06 plus a 3-drop. So yeah, I think it's too slow. I think it will get traded off, and then you will be very sad. Alright, Eerie Statue. Can't attack unless it's the only minion on the battlefield. I can see this going in some bullshit face decks. That card's probably pretty okay. 4 mana 7/7, man. 5 mana 8/8s are good. 4 mana 7/7's gotta be good too. So I can see this working. Ancient Shade, 4 mana 7/4. 4 health is an awkward number, but interesting. I don't think this is going to be as good, just because 4 health is so little. Dies to Big Game Hunter still, and just every removable spell in the game. But I could see it, I guess, going in like some like Hunter deck or something like that that's just trying to kill you really quick. But meh, probably not as. I think Eerie Statue's better than Ancient Shade, just because 4 health is too low. If this was a 7/5, this card would be nuts. But it's a 7/4. So it's like 1 health off from being spectacular, so it's just mediocre. Oh, this can't attack unless it's the only minion on the battlefield. That includes your opponent's side. Wait a minute. Never mind, this card's not good. How are you going to force your opponent not to have any minions? That is a terrible card. What? Okay, no. Eerie Statue's not good. If it was just your side of the battlefield, then it's good. This card is... Your opponent just has to play like a stealth minion or anything. So yeah, this is not good. That card's bad. I read it wrong. I thought it could attack if you didn't have any minions in the battlefield, but no, not good. Okay. Fossilized Dinosaur, Battlecry. If you control a beast, gain taunt. Why does any beast deck want an 8/8 with taunt? Ironbark Protector is a bad card. This card's not going to be good either. So, not too great. Alright. Death Rattle, summon 3 2/2 runts. Well, 3 2/2s, that's a lot of stats, but like 2/6 I think is too slow. Like, Karen's not playable right now, and Karen's about the same value as that, and a better initial body is like better for trading, but this is just like vulnerable to AoE and can't onboard trade into anything, so I think this is going to be terrible. Abyssal Sentinel, Death Rattle, give a random friendly minion +3/+3. So in order to control the Death Rattle, you got to be the one doing the trades, which means you have to be ahead in tempo, and you're playing a 5 mana 4/4. So when you play this card, you're probably losing tempo, and then they get to react first and control how the buffs go off, and can probably set it up to not really do anything. It's also like, yeah, I think it's just too slow in the sort of decks that are really going to benefit from getting a +3/+3. If you control another mech, discover a mech. 4 mana 3/4. That could be okay. That could be okay in some sort of mech deck. But 4 mana 3/4 in mech deck. Mech decks usually try and like exploit tempo gain to like get ahead really early and then finish their opponent with burn and be really quick about it. There's no like mid-rangey control mech decks, so I'm not sure that this is going to be too strong. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be played very much just because it doesn't fit the theme of what mech's trying to do. You're not trying to play mid-range with mechs. You're trying to kill people. So I don't think it's good. I think it's pretty bad. Tomb Spider, Battlecry, Discover a Beast. 4 mana 3/3. Well, there's a lot of really terrible beasts in the game. I know this because I've played Web Spinner before. So I'm not playing a 4 mana 3/3, draw a bad card. That seems awful. So yeah, that's not good. 2 mana 1/1, Discover 3-cost card. Yeah, you can't really just surrender all of the tempo on turn 2 to guarantee you hit a 3-drop. Plus, most of the 3-drops in the game are not very good. So I don't think this card's very good. Huge Toad, Death Rattle, deal 1 damage to a random enemy. Well, the 2 mana 2/3, deal 1 damage to a random enemy Battlecry is unplayably bad. So I don't find that the switch in stats to a 3/2 and changing it to a Death Rattle is going to be any different. Also just dies to like backstab and every removal spell in the game. Every weapon can kill this. So I don't think it's good. It just dies too easily. The only 2-drops that really see a lot of competitive play are the ones that have Death Rattles that can actually stick around on the board. This is not going to stick around on the board. It's Death Rattle's going to do 1 face damage after it gets removed from the board. Murloc, Tiny Fin, the Wisp of Murlocs. This is an indirect nerf to the Murloc Paladin guard and other Murloc Paladin stuff. It's because it's just like a not very good Murloc to get. It is adorable though, but 0 mana 1/1s are bad. Alright, we went over the artifacts already. Roaring Torch is insane. Cursed Thing. Card backs, game boards. Yeah. Overall, let's just review the cards that are good real quick. So let's go through and say good things. Playable. The Mounted Raptor seems playable. Desert Camel seems playable. Forgotten Torch seems insane. That's going to be a card people use. Entomb seems insane. It's going to be a card people use. This people might use. I wouldn't count it out. Definitely not count it out. I wouldn't say it's guaranteed amazing. Kalento says it's the best, but I don't think it's the best. I think it's pretty good though. Tonal Trog, that's my pick of the set of the best card, I think, in the whole set. I think this card's going to be the nuts. Reno Jackson, I think is going to be playable. And yeah, that's it. That is it. So let's count how many of those are. That is... Oh, wait, I forgot Nagasevich. Nagasevich is going to be playable. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 cards, and that's being very generous on some of them. So I think there's 8 playables, and maybe 3 of those are good. We did it. We did it. Alright, man. What are your guys' opinions on the cards? Ellie Giggle. Just lots and lots and lots of Ellie Giggle, right? Alright. Now, back to some Hearthstone action, y'all. Back to some Hearthstone action.